Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to the ONFORM Podcast. This is your host with the most. No, I'm kidding. What's going on, guys? I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in to the channel. I really do. It's not something that I take lightly at all. So I just appreciate you guys just all being here for me. And honestly, just continuing to show up. What a huge week. What a crazy week as well. For the club, for myself. So just really excited and really pumped to even just be able to talk to you guys again and be able to share some of the thoughts that we got going on with Liverpool Football Club, baby. So a lot of things we got to catch up with, a lot of things we got to definitely talk about this week because I don't know. What is your guys' thoughts on this past run of form? I really want to know what your guys' thoughts are. It's not bad. It's not great. It's kind of just like in the middle, right? And I just want to know: is it time to ring the alarms? Is it time for us to start getting worried about this? And then sometimes I'll think about it and I'll say, "Man, we've only lost one game, right? All year, and well, not all year, all season, and one game in the Carabao Cup. So, is it too early to be saying, you know?" Liverpool are in crisis. Is it time to start breaking the alarms? Because I don't know. I see one school of thought and one section of fans that are like, absolutely, this is. And they're already ready to blame FSG, which I find absolutely hilarious. They're already on the FSG out bandwagon, which I'm pretty sure there's a good more portion of us that might be the case. And but I want to know, is this dip in form, is it warranted for alarms, or are we're just kind of scarred from the Klopp days a little bit, right? So, and then TXP says, we've dipped in form. We worry because we've been here before last season. Klopp didn't turn it around. And that's true. And it's giving shades of that season of when, we kind of threw it away, where we were dominant all the way up until Christmas. And then all of a sudden, it was over, right? We were somehow 5 points behind in the title race, and Manchester City kind of ran away with it there at the end. And I don't want the same thing to happen. And I don't know who that person could be. I don't know if it's City this time. I don't know if it's Arsenal this time, if they can get their shit together. Or maybe it's a dark horse in Nottingham Forest. And I saw somebody make a comment the other day about Nottingham Forest have the same amount of points Leicester had when they had their upset dark horse title run. So I don't know. Should we be worried about Nottingham? Should we be worried about Arsenal? Who do you guys think is our biggest rivals in this title race so far this season? So Reese says, I think if you look at the results individually, none of them are bad. They all make sense. The only thing sounding the alarms for me is the vibes. And I'd have to agree with that. I think I get it. I totally get it. We want to run everybody over. We want to be perfect. We want to have a spotless season, right? But I don't know if that's always going to be the case. I mean, I saw somebody on Twitter say, man, this is a title race. It's supposed to be hard. We're not supposed to be running away with this thing the way that Manchester City has ran away with it in the past, or the way that Man United, even in their glory days, have run away with it in the past. It's not supposed to be easy, right? And I forget that a little bit, but it's true, Reese. The vibes around the club, the vibes around the fan base, it's uneasy. It's extremely uneasy right now, and I don't think I like it. And I think it may be starting to get to Slot a little bit. And I know he's a very honest type of person and he'll keep it a stack regardless, right? No matter what. But I see him starting to crack a little bit, getting frustrated with the officials, getting frustrated, with the way the other team is performing and playing and things like that. I can see him getting frustrated. And I didn't think he had that side in him, but it's showing that he indeed does. And obviously we're all human and we all have those moments. But, in some of those moments in Newcastle, it was the first time I seen Arne Slot truly frustrated. And after being such a cool and calm figure for the first half of the season, I hope this isn't a sign, if that makes sense. And it's just his passion. And I might be looking a little bit too into this, but I hope it isn't a sign that when the pressure is on, Arne Slot starts to crack a little bit. But from what I've seen from him so far, I don't think so. But maybe that's just me, something I'm just seeing. But Happily says too early. Yesterday was a decent performance. It was. And a lot of people, I don't think we're understanding or we're registering that we're playing probably the best informed team in the league at the moment outside of us. I would say maybe them, Newcastle, and us are the most informed sides right now in the league. I mean, Newcastle are 3-0 up right now. They're going on their 5th win in a row. Nottingham Forest was on 5 wins before they played us. And we're unbeaten pretty much almost all season up until that Nottingham Forest game months and months and months ago, right? So I would say we are the top 3 teams in the league. Obviously, Arsenal, obviously is in that mix. I think the top 4 I'm looking at the table right now. I think it's a deserved top 4. These are the 4 best teams in the league, for sure. I would agree on that. So, and then Liverpool chat, Dan said, we're in trouble if we don't beat Brentford. Arsenal could go on a run like they did last year and pass us up. I don't know about Arsenal, Dan. I really don't know about Arsenal. You guys know how I feel about Arsenal and if I think they're legit or not. I don't think that they're legit, especially now that I'm hearing rumors about them signing Zubimendi. Why are they signing another defensive midfielder when it's so obvious that they need a forward? Their priorities are just all in the wrong spot. I just don't think that and I say this all the time, they don't got the balls to win the Premier League. I fear for them and their teams. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a hater, but I think Arsenal's probably one of the last teams we really need to worry about at the moment. And then AFC Forest will drop away as the season progresses. I think so too, Happily. I think so too. I think Arsenal will eventually drop more points. The mentality is really weak. They're missing a lot of key players. Their players keep going down. They have no attack pretty much because Saka's out of there. And without Saka, Odegaard really is a pedestrian. And now Gabriel Jesus, who was stepping up for them, has now went down and is out for the season. I just don't see them going on a run unless they make some big purchases this January transfer window, which we know a lot of movement just really doesn't happen in the January transfer window. It just doesn't. So, and then Reese says Forest has made themselves dark horse for sure. But Nottingham Forest also have home games left against Arsenal, City, and Chelsea, which is good news for us. Definitely. But if they play any way that they played us at Anfield and the way they played us at home for them, they should be in the mix, man. But those are games that they definitely probably should drop points and could drop points on. All of those ones that you mentioned. We obviously still have to play all of those teams as well. Again, which those games aren't given as well. I mean, it's going to go down. I mean, I believe Graham said this, or Graham, yeah. Reese, you said this in the Discord, is that I think it's going to go down the last 3 games, and it might. I thought this one was going to be a blowaway. We were going to run away with this one. It's going to be packed up by February, by March. I think this one's going to go down to the wire. I do think we're going to win this title. Don't get me wrong. I do have some concerns and things like that, and things have to play out in a specific way. But I do think we are going to win this title. I think we're in a really good position to win it. Game in hand. We're still, 4 points clear of Arsenal, who are having a very up and down season. And who knows what happens in their Champions League game and their Carabao Cup game, if that affects the mentality and things like that for them. I would say the teams that I'm most exactly, Dan, the teams that I'm most afraid of right now is Newcastle and Forest, because they're big physical teams that are on a run right now, and they could continue to go on that run, man. Newcastle just sprang up out of nowhere, right? So, and I'm seeing that Arsenal is beating Spurs 2-1. Game not over though. And we could see Spurs pull that out, and I'm probably gonna hop on and watch that game after we wrap up here. Maybe watch the highlights because I know it's in the 54th minute there. So make sure you guys keep me up to date on that as we kind of go along. But Happily also said it's a girl interrupted season. No one had the off season they needed. We never got anyone in because Slot was in getting to know you mode. AFC never got a striker. Man City never replaced old legs. It's true, and that's why I feel like right now is the most important time. Is probably the key time that we could go and win this thing, because everyone's having down seasons. Like the last time that this happened was the Leicester season, right? Where everyone sucked. This time we actually don't suck and everyone else kind of sucks. So we got to capitalize. Slot's got to do everything that he can to capitalize. FSG has to fucking invest in this team and bring in some reinforcements. I'm going to say that over and over and over. Now that I've seen it, I know I was one to saying that we don't need signings in the beginning, kind of on the fence about it. I did have people and players that I wanted us to sign. You guys know that I've made full videos about that and things like that, but I was more on the side of like, let's let them cook a little bit. Now I'm like, all right, it's time to get some signage through the door. It's obvious that we need it. Our boys look knackered. So we got to get some reinforcements in. And then Reset, I actually don't mind Arne getting got to, but I chill with chirping at that fourth official. Just got us used to officials with sausage rolls for brains. Yeah, he's got to get used to that, man. I mean, Klopp was massive on that. He used to freaking scream at fourth officials, which made him really hated in the league, right? And whether we want to admit it or not, those decisions will go against you whether they like you or not as a person, as a manager. That's just the case. That's just how it is. So, and then Alex, what's up, man? What's good, brother? I'm feeling good, man, after the game. Honestly, I'm feeling more positive than I thought I was going to be feeling after that game. If there was any game that we could drop points in, it was going to be that game. That was the game that we would drop points in against Nottingham Forest, and it'd still be okay. We're still 4 points clear with the game in hand. I mean, once the game in hand comes into play, we could still be 7 points clear after everything is all done and dusted. And I'm looking at our record right now. We're 14-5-1 in the league right now. We got 48 goals for, man. I think we're the highest scoring team in the league. Yeah, we are. So, highest scoring team in the league, one of the best defenses in the league, only 20 goals against. The only team that has a better defensive record than us is Arsenal at 19. And we have the best goal difference in the league, which is 28 on 47 points, one loss all season. Let that be the facts. Let that be the facts right there. Before we start ringing the alarm bells, let that be the facts real quick. I'll read that again one more time. We got a game in hand, 14 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss, best goals for in the league, most goals scored. We have the best attack in the league. We almost have the best defense in the league by 1 goal, 20 to Arsenal's 19. And we have the best goal difference and on 47 points. And I repeat, with a game in hand. Right? So nothing to be upset about. I'm feeling good still. I don't think we ring the alarm bells yet. But thank you for checking on me, Alex. You're the man. Appreciate you, bro. And then Matt G, good evening, my boy. Good evening. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Make sure you join the Discord as well. I'm going to put that down below in the link. Actually, I'll comment it right now. If you guys haven't, joined the Discord. If you're a member of the channel, you get special privileges in the Discord. We're going to start doing watch-alongs in the Discord and we'll be able to chat with each other and things like that. It's going to be a freaking blast. I'm going to do those co-hosting with the podcast starting next month, and that's going to be held in the Discord. The waiting room is going to be in there, so make sure you guys join the Discord if you can. It would be pretty sick. Why does it say hidden copy button? Maybe YouTube doesn't let me oh wait, my link says hidden copy button. Why does it say that? There we go. Boom. Let's try this again. Not hidden copy button. There you guys go. That's the Discord if you guys want to join it. And then I was watching the game and turned that shit off. Arsenal is the most boring team to watch, honestly. Yeah. I mean, at least Nottingham Forest give you a little bit of shithousery that you can just kind of be entertained a little bit into. But yeah, Arsenal is boring Arsenal. Remember that? Remember that chant they used to say? Boring Arsenal. Boring Arsenal. They're back. They're definitely back. And then Man City got Marmoush. I guess, bro. And I always thought that the Marmoush links were his agent talking that up. You guys know that. And I never was very big on Marmoush in the first place. I always go off of stats. He hasn't had great previous seasons, and he hasn't showed that he can do that over a series of seasons at the top level. It's great to have a purple patch. It's I've got a hidden coffee button. Yippee. It's great to have a purple patch. It's great to have a run of form. But for me, it's like a Chris Wood type of thing. You're going to go and spend 60 million, 70 million on Chris Wood, who's shown that he's having a good season, that he can't go and do this over and over and over. That's the Marmoush deal for me. I know they need a Julian Alvarez replacement, and I think that's a good replacement for them if he can stay at this level. I don't think that he will. And this isn't me being a hater. You guys know that I was never big on Marmoush, and I never thought that he was the one that Liverpool was going to be going for. So I'm happy City got him instead of us. But it's just a hype signing for me personally. If it does go through, I don't know if it's complete or not. They're saying it's almost done and it's in its completing stages. So we'll see. Matt G says, will it be more difficult to win the Premier League or the Champions League? That's a great question. That's actually a really great question. I don't know. I actually don't know. So what do you guys think? Because I asked a similar question. I believe it was last week. Which one would you rather win? But now I want to know which one you guys think is harder to win, the Champions League or the Premier League. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go, if we're going off of this year specifically, I would say the Premier League is probably going to be the harder competition to win. If we're going off of this year specifically. If we're going off of historically, I'd say Champions League. If we're going off of historically, especially the last handful of seasons, Man City has obviously handily won the Premier League pretty easily. But this season, it's pretty hard. But the easier competition this year, it's probably going to be the Champions League, I believe, in my personal opinion. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think on that. I think the Prem is tough this year. I mean, you look at the table, like, bruh, it's freaking packed from top to bottom. You now have teams like Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford. Who else? Brighton, who completely fell off a cliff for me, and I'm very upset about that because they messed up my prediction. Tottenham can go get a result whenever they want. Palace can go get a result whenever they want. You got to go play Everton, right? Like, from top to bottom, it's tough games in the Premier League. It's tough games this year. So we'll see. I worry that under Slot, Anfield is not a fortress that it used to be. We'd rather be tough on the road. I still think Anfield's a fortress. We just got one loss there this season. I still think Anfield's a fortress. I still do. Anfield is still Anfield. The fans are still the same. The fans are still fantastic. And then Reese said, is Marmouche official? Last I heard, it was just being discussed because I don't think Frankfurt actually want to sell until the summer. That is true. They've been very open about that, but I think if the right deal comes in, which it looks like it's going to, and it's going to be in excess of $70 million, they'll probably take that. They'd be dumb if they didn't take it, especially if the form dips, his head turns, all of this extra shit that goes into transfers and things like that. You take it right now. You don't wait until the summer because you probably won't get as much as you want in the summer, and he probably won't go to City in the summer. City are desperate in this moment, right? And then Alex said, man, I'm going to be honest. I wish I felt the way that you do after the game. I've just seen this play out too much where we are leading after the new year and then we implode in the second half of the season. I completely get that, but I think Manchester City has traumatized us all a little bit, and Man City aren't in the mix in this. So I don't feel like we have to really be worried too much. I mean, we're 12 points on them with a game in hand in Man City. I don't think Arsenal goes on a run. I think they'll still get one of these little, they'll get wins here and there, but they will drop points. So the boogeyman, that the one that we really need to be worried about the most, Manchester City, are kind of out of the mix. They're sitting in 6th place right now and can't really get a run of form on. So I say the only people that I'd mainly be worried about is Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, man. That's it. So we'll see. We'll see. And then Alex also said, it's always because of the same thing. Like Don Hewsome says, you have to look at the common denominators, and that's FSG. Richard Hughes is an embarrassment as well. Dude is a product of nepotism. I'm going to have to do a whole think piece on FSG, Richard Hughes, and the whole thought process behind that. By the time when I'll hold my criticisms until the end of the season. I'll hold my criticisms until the end of the season on this regime. I'll do another Merseyside monster if it goes the way that you're saying it goes. And then I might do, the Merseyside Maestro if things turn around. Who knows? But I have some theories and things about Richard Hughes, FSG, and what the hell's going on. So we'll see. Hopefully they turn it around. We should ask Arsenal which is harder to win, the Champions League or the Premier League. They would not know. They wouldn't know either. They haven't won the Premier League in so long, and they have never won the Champions League, so they wouldn't know. And then Reese says, Prem probably more difficult this year because of the parity, but UCL can sometimes depend on the draw. Like anybody that runs into Barca early this year is going to have a hard time, without a doubt. And for some reason, I have a weird feeling that we're going to draw them. I got a weird feeling that we're going to draw Barca, but we'll see what happens. 2 extra games and more chances of running into surprise packages, plus all the big guns. True. And then back to the Anfield topic. There's a weekender EPL Anfield that's infinitely friendlier than the cold Wednesday night where all of the blue collar locals descend to the ground. Good point. So yeah, Tuesday night moves was a little bit different, right? Or Wednesday night Anfield's feels a little bit different, but Anfield is still Anfield. I still feel like it's still loud. The fans are still at it, and they've been fantastic. The handful of times that we've been at Anfield, we'll be on the road, obviously, a little bit now, but we'll see moving forward. And then Marmouche won't improve City. They already have top striker and some wingers. It's the midfield legs that are gone. Good point. Should we keep Musk out? I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys know how I feel about it. I'm for it in some ways, in some instances, and in other ways, I'm against it. Right? There's a lot of things that kind of go into it, and no ownership group or owner is perfect, and we all know that. But if FSG let this continue to develop the way that it's developing, it low-key makes me a little sad. I'm not gonna lie. And you guys know that I'm not an FSG in or FSG out type of person, like, at all. And I don't like that, that kind of talk on the channel and things like that. But I'm also not an idiot. And I also know that we haven't bought a defender since VVD. And I also know I don't think this is the first time in our history where our manager has been backed quite literally zero at all in the transfer market. So it's strange. It's really, really strange outside looking in. It's very, very strange to think about it, to look at it, and not feel, what's going on here? Right? So, I don't know. We'll see. I saw someone say musk should stay an ingredient in a perfume. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening there, bro. But I don't know. Do we love what's going on now? Do we love that? In the midst of a title race, nothing. We see the team slipping a little bit, fatigue setting in, nothing. Do we love that? I don't, personally. I personally don't. So, I don't know. But I don't know where you go from there. Liverpool is a multi-billion-dollar club. There aren't very many people on the planet that can even buy Liverpool from FSG. Is the thing, right? That's another thing you got to take into consideration. There aren't very many people, organizations, groups that can even afford Liverpool now at what we're valued at. So it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic. We'll see what even materializes from it, man. So, but let's talk about the teams that are in form this week. In form, we're going to be talking about, it's got to be Nottingham Forest. I'm going to do Nottingham Forest. I'm going to do Newcastle. And I'm going to do Nottingham Forest, Newcastle. I'm going to say Bournemouth. I'm going to say Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and Bournemouth is who I'm going to say are in my on form this week. Liverpool not in the on form this week again, y'all. And I keep Arsenal out of there due to cup performances, which I feel like can bleed over into league performances. I know they're winning right now. And obviously Man City stays out of that mix because they bottled it. Chelsea are currently bottling the entire thing, so they stay out of that. I think those are the three best teams in the league right now. Or are best teams in the league this past week. I'm not gonna say right. I'm not gonna say best overall. I think the best teams in the league are the top four right now. But in terms of form, I'm gonna go Nottingham, Newcastle, Bournemouth. That's gonna be my pick. Let me know if you guys agree with that. If you guys would pick a different one. But we'll kind of see what ends up happening and unfolds in these next handful of weeks on the inform category, because it's going to get interesting because we're all going to start playing each other again and the big games are coming back. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But as for the out of form category, I'm going to go with Tottenham, especially if they lose right now. They did get a big result over us, which is good for them. I mean, we play them again in a month, and it's Carabao Cup. But Tottenham are they're a little underachieving a little bit. I'm also gonna put Chelsea in there because I feel like Chelsea was at the time considered a true title threat. Even just like 2-3 weeks ago, right? Where I was worried about Chelsea. Now it's like, oh shit, is Chelsea even going to finish top 5? I mean, top 4. So they're going to be in my out of form category. Who else would I put in mine? I'm going to say Brighton. Everyone else is kind of like, okay, you're kind of expecting those things. I'd say Man United just because they haven't won in a while as well. But I think all of these, the results aren't all the way equal, right? Some of the results are like, oh, that was a draw, but that was a good draw. Or, oh, that was a win in, whatever it might be, blah, 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 for Man United. So we'll keep them out of the out of form category. Everyone else is just like the Southamptons, the Leicesters, those types of guys where we kind of expect them to be losing. Like, I'm not going to put those in the out of form categories. It's the people that are surprising me. So those are my three. That's what I would put. Chelsea are Maresca out already. Such a pathetic fan base. There's no fucking way that they should even letting that be coming out of their mouths, because he's revived that team, given it structure, given it a distinctive play style. They're on a skid a little bit, but I don't think it's Maresca out. No, that's so dumb. So, Newcastle will help spoil AFC this season. I think so. That team is freaking cracked, bro. I mean, the way that Gordon is playing right now, Isak, that duo up top is just deadly. And then they just have some 6'1", 6'2" massive boys in the middle that are just freaking insanely physical and just bully you. They just bully you. That midfield is the engine room for Newcastle. They make the magic happen. Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali are just like, that's like a perfect midfield if you're looking to just cause mayhem, bro. And you're just looking to be physical, be dominant, bully people off the ball, get a couple cards while you're at it, and bang in some long distance goals. Those are the three that you put in the midfield, right? So they're a dangerous team. I don't want to see them anytime soon. And then Matt G said, I agree, City are out of it. Could it be the players at City lose and draw games because they're tired of Pep, like his wife? That's fucked up though, man. You lose a couple games, you go on a losing streak and you lose your whole wife. That's so messed up. But it could be time to move on. I mean, that's how it was I felt like it was for Jurgen Klopp when he was on his way out, is that the players were just like, all right, this was fun. The past 9 years have been fun. I think it's time for something new, and then the contempt, as a player, you don't even realize you're growing contempt towards your manager until it's too late. Right. And then the next thing you're having arguments, you're yelling at each other on field, all of those things. And it's kind of time to move on. Right. Which I think it might be the case for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's making purchases. Apparently he's buying 2 new defenders with Marmoush in for this January transfer window. Not very many big names. Interestingly enough, Marmoush is the biggest out of all of them, right? So, and then Isak will have his revenge on AFC for not buying him. I don't think people keep talking about that transfer. I don't think that transfer has ever happened. I'm gonna be honest. It just does not make sense for Newcastle to sell their best player to someone that they are looking to be rivals and compete with. It just makes no sense. So whenever I see Arsenal fans continuing to bring that up, like, oh, we're going to complete the Real Sociedad, quadruple and get all of the former players in here when we get Isak, it's dumb to me. It's just dumb. So awesome. Let's jump into off the press. What are some of the shit that we're seeing in the news, man? In the news. I think it's time. We got to bring it up. Darwinito. You keeping Darwin? Yes or no? You keeping Darwin? Yes or no? Are we genuinely serious about this Darwin interest? He didn't play this last game. He didn't play. He didn't come on as an impact sub like Slot typically wants him to. Apparently, the interest from Saudi Arabia is 100% real. And apparently, it is in excess of $70 million. I love Darwin. He's one of my favorite players at Liverpool. I have his jersey. And I agree, Matt. He does have the Liverpool fire inside of him. But is that enough? That's what I've been having to ask myself, because I love Darwin. I'm a massive fan of Darwin, who he is, his personality, how he carries himself, the energy he brings to the squad. I love it. But you don't spend that type of money that we spent on him. It'd be different if this is a $40 million signing or a $30 million signing. This was a 80 with 20 add-ons type of signing. He was a $100 million player. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that Darwin Núñez was a $100 million player with his add-ons. We have to get a forward that finds the net. We have to. And if you know Liverpool's history, you know Liverpool's heritage, you know Liverpool, what we're all about. We've always had the best strikers in the world. Always. We've never been in an era where we didn't have a top 5 striker in the world on our team. That's our bread and butter. That's like who we are. That's what we're about. It's like Atletico Madrid with forwards. Like Atletico always has a top 5 forward in their ranks. Always. Right? For us, Rushy, Fowler, Owen, Torres, Suarez. We always have a top 5 forward in our ranks. We don't have that right now. We don't. We just don't. And I think we deserve a forward like what you got, like what Dan is saying at Liverpool Chat. We deserve a better player, and we do. And I do want him to succeed and win. I hope he comes out the next game and scores a hat trick. I would rather that happen than him leave. But we need a forward that can find the back of the net, like an Isak, like a Gyökeres, like a Benjamin Sesko. I'd even invest in a Benjamin Sesko, because I know people are like, oh, he's kind of up and down. He would be just like getting Darwin. I don't think that's the same thing. Sesko's he's already on 8 goals, 2 assists this season. Scored a banger recently. Red Chili, my boy. What's up, brother? Thank you for the donation, by the way, my man. I appreciate that. And let me read his super chat here. Just got back from Aldi. Love my French lager. Roman, can I upgrade my membership, or is it just one price? Love Darwin, but would sell for $70 million. And yes, you can. You are gonna have to go into the memberships page. Let me see if I can drop that down into the app, or into a link real quick. You're gonna go into the memberships page, and you should be able to update it from there, and move up into world class. And world class is, if you guys don't know, it is a tier of the channel where you can get access to those call in as a host next month. So there you go, Red Chili. And I would do the same thing, man. I would actually do the same thing. I'd probably sell him for just a high potential forward. Give me a high potential forward. That's, Darwin's he's already getting, older. He's growing in age. If you can even freaking believe that, it's already almost been 4 years since we bought him initially. So, I like Benjamin Sesko. I feel like he's one of those. We have a great relationship with Leipzig already, right? 21 years old, big, physical, fast, deadly inside the box. I feel like if he gets around better players and he plays with Dom, who's played at the same club as him, and, he gets around guys like Salah, I think he can definitely, Red Chili, you are the man. You did not have to give me an extra 2 for just to say thank you. I appreciate you though, brother. Join our Discord for sure. Red Chili, please, my boy. I appreciate you, bro. And then happily said, I trust the data boys in the back room to find us another 37 million pound Salah, virtually unknown, who's a banger. I don't know if Moneyball is going to work this time around. And I said this before in a comment. I don't know if Moneyball is going to work again for forward because they're just so few and far in between right now, man. You know, there isn't a whole ton of options out there where it's just like, oh, he's special. He just needs a little bit more work. We may already have a Moneyball option in our ranks, and Jaden Dans. What about Jaden Dans? Can we get Dans in there, bro? I feel like he's like the ultimate Moneyball option. Like, if we really want to save some money, let's get Jaden Dans in the mix. I think so. Personally, I like Dans a whole ton. I think he gives you pretty much everything that a Samiz would give you. I think he gives you everything that a Marmouche would give you. He just needs more game time. Can we just give him more game time? That's what I really want. And I'm not sure. I don't know what Slot's approach is on this whole thing. I don't know what he plans on doing with these young players and why they're not getting very many minutes. But I want to see more Elliott. I want to see more Dans. I want to see more Morton. I feel like these guys have a role in this side, and I think they should get more time in. It's the same thing with Trey and Yoni. I think these boys are ready. And I think we have some world-class players already in the mix, and I'd love to see them just get more effort in, more time in. I think Dans is probably the most Premier League ready, like the most of a finished product out of all of them, believe it or not, including Harvey Elliott, believe it or not. I'll make that huge. I'll make that crazy ass comment and prediction there. I think he's more ready than Harvey Elliott is. I think Harvey still has some developing to do to be like really influential on a game. The way that I think Slot wants him to be, like the way that Sabo influences a game at the 10, I think that's how he wants Elliott to influence a game at the 10. Elliott's game is a little bit more of a continuing the flow of the game versus impacting the game, if that makes sense. I don't think Elliott gets stuck in on challenges. I don't think Elliott wins huge headers. I don't think Elliott, you know what I mean? He's not driving the ball upfield with his pace and physicality and his athleticism the way that Szoboszlai does. And that's why Slot would prefer Sabo there, right? And you can see the difference in our team when Sabo plays and when he doesn't. And I think that's why Elliott maybe isn't getting as much minutes as we thought he was going to get this season. And he's not a winger, so he doesn't take up Mo Salah's position when Mo's not around very well. So I think it's more of like, where can we fit Elliott in this whole regime, and what role works best for him, and can he adapt and change maybe to a new role? We'll see. And then Dan scored again. Dan's looks like a stud. He does. And then Alex said, Jaden Dans reminds me of Ings for whatever reasons. He's good, but I don't think he'll ever be our starting forward. He's too flat-footed and too slow for my liking. I think Dans is the opposite of all of those things that you said, Alex. I'm not going to lie. I think did you see the way that he created the goal from an Accrington Stanley from midfield? Opposite of flat-footed, fleet-footed, able to dig the ball out, find the right pass, make the forward run, be a late man in, follow in on the. You want that. You want that in a forward. You want all that in the forward. Pop up with a goal every time you play. Every time you play, go get me a goal. Or impact the way in some way, shape, or form. I think so. So he looks the part whenever he plays in the first team. I agree. Him and Connor Bradley, it's very clear as day that these two should be starters soon. Less so Jaden Dans, more so Connor Bradley. Every time they play, they're like one of the best players on the pitch. And that's a telltale sign that they're ready. Like, if they're making impacts and headlines and they're becoming man of the match every time they touch the pitch, it's probably because they're ready to be in the first team. Right? So, Reese says, my fear with LFC right now isn't Moneyball 2.0. It's our front office getting too stubborn to the mold. It's great to have a clear picture of what you want, but you can't let that stop development, and 100%. And you guys know I've spoke on the whole structure and how Edwards wants to run this Liverpool team. He's a tyrant. It's his way or no way, and that's just how it is. And I would not be surprised if we see Mo Salah move on. We sign Trent, and we maybe give VVD some sort of bumper deal, one more year, and then that's it. Because VVD would be willing to take a pay cut, maybe. I'm getting a stronger and stronger feeling that Mo Salah leaves at the end of this season because of the money that he wants and the age that he's at. And I think he maybe goes to PSG. So I know he'd want to continue to competing at the top level. I know that. So we'll see though. Slot will be a cash machine for the Reds. All these youngsters will get even better with him as a manager. I hope so. I really do. Hope they can develop and get better and get game time. They haven't really had too much this season. I hope they do get more game time moving forward. And then Happily said, Elliott needs to be central, edge of the box, link man, little dinks and dunks around the corner, balls, back heels to Salah and Gakpo, another Firmino. I was thinking that the other day too, actually, Happily. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm like, maybe Harvey isn't a midfielder. Maybe he's more of a false nine because he does have that left foot that he can lace things into the top left-hand corner. He can create when he gets into little spaces like that. Maybe he isn't the 10 that Slot needs to be really physical and drive the ball and ball carry and get stuck in the way that Sabo does. Maybe he can be that false nine that he's looking for, like in preseason when both of them played in the middle of the pitch and almost played as a 10 and a 9 together. So I think he'd probably be the most effective there, almost in a Phil Foden type of role, where Foden is allowed to just, kind of create in those middle spaces and use that left foot to just abuse opposition, right? But I don't know if that's the way that Slot wants to play, right? So we don't know. And then Reese says Slot doesn't rate Elliott highly, at least in his current position. Man, we can, and Alex said, man, we can agree to disagree. I'll say that I hope you're right, and I'm wrong. Also, people upstairs are very, very dumb if they don't resign Hala to a 3-year contract. Look at Braun, for example. And you know how I feel about Mo. I think he's a special case. He's a generational talent where you sign him no matter what. He could be 40. You sign Mo to a deal. It's like Kobe. You sign him to a deal. You give him an extension. You let him retire at your club. But it's like what Reese said. They are stuck to this mold. They are set in this way, and it looks like they don't want to change. They just don't want to change. So, I don't know. We'll see. And then Foden is a great shout regarding Elliott. I think they have a very similar game, actually. Both left-footed. Both don't have a ton of pace. Both almost never give the ball away, though. And both can hit that top left-hand corner at will when they want to. Very creative, eye for goal. I think both him and Jones need to be played much more forward in the box than they do, or to the box than they do now. I don't think Jones and Elliott are midfielders. I think Jones is better as a false nine in and around the box, being able to wiggle his way out of tight spaces, being able to not be pressed. He just needs to work on his decision making. He's a great shooter. I just don't think he's a good midfielder because he holds on to the ball too long. And then I think that Elliott as well is one of those players as well. I think they need to be played in attack. I think they're attackers, man. I think they're attackers. I really do. So let's see here. Let's go, Red Chili. He became a member of the channel. You are the man. You are the man, brother. Appreciate you. And then Alex said, exactly, you keep him there to teach him There we go. Boom. Upgraded his membership to world class. Let's go, my boy. And then Alex said, exactly, you keep him there to teach the young ones coming through, making sure the kids know that they have a platform at nothing less than perfect levels. Right. You keep Mo Salah in there. Then you eventually move him to your backroom staff and let him become a coach. You don't let him leave the club ever, bro. You never leave those types of players ever. And then Reese said, was kind of surprised Jones wasn't on the left of Sabo to start the game. I wasn't. I knew Jones was going to get dropped this game. I knew they were going to do Maka. They were going to do Maka, Sabo, and Gravenberg. And I knew that he was going to stick with Gakpo. And I felt that he was going to do Diaz down the middle because it worked with Leverkusen. It didn't work with this side because Leverkusen actually wanted to go and play football. Which is, if the team tries to go and play football, you get punished under Arne Slot. If you sit down and you play a low block, you may have a chance. So, and then Matt G said, what about Marcus Rashford, or is he toxic? I don't think so. How old is Rashford? I've seen that name pop up a couple times amongst fans. 27. Mm-mm. Bro is living off of like 2 seasons, 2020 and 2023. I mean, he'd be a good backup option, but I don't think we need another winger. I really don't. And I think he's a good player and he's talented. If there's a deal to be had, I mean, expect FSG to go for it if there's a deal to be had. But I don't know if there's a deal to be had. Would the fans welcome him? I feel like they would. I feel like Liverpool fans. I feel like a lot of people like to bunch Liverpool fans in with like the rest of the fans who are just like malignant and violent and and aggressive and hateful. Like, we're not Arsenal. We're not Man United fans. Like, if respect is due, we give respect. We give respect always. I mean, even players that have broken our heart and betrayed us, when they come back for charity matches, we cheer them. Right? We never boo players off the pitch like Man United. We never, I mean, even Nunes, right? The fan base essentially as a whole is backed him, and even now we're still, for the majority of the case, backing him. So, we'll see. I doubt it though. Is it wrong of me that I want to see Jones as a striker over Nunes? Apparently, Jones used to be a forward when he was coming up in the youth system. He used to be a forward coming up in the youth system. He used to be a left winger. So maybe he should go back because I feel like he does better closer to the box, to the box, in and around the box, near the goal. I feel like his best work comes from when he's getting into dangerous positions. As someone who was seeing Rashford play in person, albeit preseason, I wasn't so impressed. I did too, and I wasn't super impressed with him as well. And it was also a preseason game in Las Vegas, and he had a really bad attitude as well. Didn't sign any fan autographs or anything like that. Ignored fans. There was this one little girl that said, "Rashford, please give me your shirt. It's my so-and-so birthday or whatever." And he just looked at her and just kept going. So I'd say no. I'd say maybe no to that one. That one's kind of crazy. Rashford is worse than my fat ass playing in Mexican Sunday league, still drunk, hungover for the night. Hey, Rashford on his day can be a world-class player, but bro has to figure some stuff out. He just needs to get out of Manchester, I think. Get out of the spotlight, get back to the basics, work on his game, go somewhere where he's going to be celebrated and not tolerated. And I think Rashford should be okay. I don't think he's a Liverpool player, though. Let's be honest. But that's pretty much all the news that I'm seeing for off the press. I'm seeing that the Trent deal is falling apart for for Madrid that they've given up. I feel like Trent's gonna sign. But we will see what happens. There's some, random one-off rumors that we see, but I would not expect us to sign anybody this January. If we do, I'm praying and hoping it's Gerald Hato. But we will see. And then it looks like Arsenal has also won, which is all good, totally fine. They should be winning that against that Tottenham side. So I'm not going to look too into that result. I still think they're one of the last teams we need to worry about. And this may just me being a hater, but Arsenal ain't catching us, man. They're just not. So appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Red Chili, I'm world class, baby. Even though I'm a bum, you're not a bum, Red Chili. You are world class and very valued in this community, brother. So I appreciate you. Love you, man. You are one of the OGs on this channel, and you keep supporting and showing love. So I appreciate you, man. Big shout out to you, Reese. Big shout out to Dan. You are the man. Alex, thanks for popping back in. You are the man. And happily, you have some of the best takes that I have ever seen on YouTube. Keep doing your thing, guys. I love you guys all. And we will see you on the next podcast. Don't forget, join the Discord so we can keep chatting it up, posting rumors. I'm going to be doing a voice chat for the game next week, a watch along of sorts, so we can all just chat it up with each other, watch the game together. It's going to be pretty sick. And then, of course, again, we're going to be starting the call in for the podcast next